Welcome back. Today, in our ITIL 4 series, we're going to tackle 3 core concepts that, let's be honest, trip up almost everyone. We're talking about the exact difference between a customer and a user, how value is really created, and what a service is actually made of. You know, getting these right isn't just about passing the exam, it's about making ITIL work in the real world. So, here's our game plan. First, we'll get the cast of characters straight. Then we'll see how they work together. We'll define what value even means in ITIL, break down a service offering piece by piece, and then wrap it all up. Sound good? Let's start with who's who. All right, first up, let's sort out the key roles. In the world of service management, words like customer and user have super specific meanings, and mixing them up is a classic mistake. So let's get this crystal clear right now.
Okay, before I just give you the textbook definition, think about your own workplace for a second. A new piece of software gets rolled out. Who is it really for? Is it the exec who signed the check to fix some big business problem? Or is it the team that has to log in and use the thing every single day? It seems simple, but the answer is absolutely key to understanding the ITIL way of thinking. So according to ITIL, the customer is the one who defines the requirements and is on the hook for the outcomes. Let's go back to our software example. If a CEO says, "We need a CRM to track sales better," that CEO is the customer. They've defined the what, and they're the one who has to answer for whether it works or not.
Next, we've got the sponsor. This one's easy. It's the person who holds the purse strings, the one who authorizes the budget. And here's a really important point. These roles can totally overlap. In our CRM example, the CEO who decided what was needed is probably the same person who approved the money for it. That makes them both the customer and the sponsor. And finally, we have the user. These are the people with their boots on the ground, the ones actually using the service day in and day out. For our CRM, this is the entire sales team. They're the ones logging calls, updating deals, and running reports. They didn't define the big picture goals or pay for it, but they're the ones interacting with the service every single day.
So here's the crucial takeaway. Customer, sponsor, and user are 3 different roles. Think of them like 3 different hats, but they don't have to be 3 different people. In a small company, the owner might wear all 3 hats. In a giant corporation, they're almost always different people or even entire departments. Knowing the difference is just vital.
So, now that we know who the players are, let's talk about how they play the game together. This next idea, value co-creation, is honestly one of the biggest and most important shifts in all of ITIL 4. The old way of thinking was that IT builds something and then just delivers it to the business, like ordering a pizza. ITIL 4 says, nope, that's not how it works. Value isn't a one-way street. It's something the provider and the consumer create together as partners. The provider brings the tools, and the consumer uses those tools to get their job done. This visual really captures the whole idea perfectly. Value isn't some pre-made thing in a box that you just hand over. It's more like a puzzle that the provider and the consumer put together as a team. Each side brings different pieces, and through an ongoing relationship, they create the final picture. This partnership is really built on 3 key activities. On one side, you've got service provision. That's everything the provider does, like managing the tech and all the resources. On the other side, you have service consumption. That's the consumer actually using the service. But the real magic happens in the middle, service relationship management. That's the constant, ongoing work both sides do to make sure that partnership stays strong and keeps creating value. Okay, so we've been throwing this word value around a lot. But what is it really? In ITIL, for any service to be considered valuable, it has to check 2 very specific and equally important boxes. Now pay close attention, because this might be the most important thing you need to remember from this whole explainer. For a service to truly have value, ITIL says it must be both fit for purpose and fit for use. And you have to have both. One without the other is useless. Let's break down what that means. Let's put these side by side. Utility is all about what the service does, its features, its functions. It answers the question, is this fit for my purpose? Warranty, on the other hand, is about how well the service performs. Is it available? Is it secure? It answers, is this fit for my use? Think about an email service. Its utility is that it sends and receives email. Its warranty is the promise that it'll be online 99.9% of the time and your data is safe. And here is a massive exam tip. You will, without a doubt, see this on the test. A service has to have both to create value. An email system with a million amazing features that is always down, great utility,
awful warranty. It's not valuable. An email system that is super reliable but can only send plain text, great warranty, terrible utility. Also not valuable. You absolutely need both. Okay, so value is this perfect mix of utility and warranty. But how does that value actually get packaged up and presented to a consumer? Well, that's where the service offering comes into play. Let's take a look at its anatomy.
Every single service offering is basically a package deal made up of 3 possible components: goods, access to resources, and service actions. Just think of these as the building blocks a provider uses to put together the final product for the consumer. Let's use a super simple everyday example. When you get a new cell phone plan, what are you actually getting? Well, you get the physical phone itself. Ownership transfers to you, so that's the good. You get connected to the mobile network. You don't own it, you just get to use it, and that's access to resources. And finally, if something goes wrong and you call the helpline, the support they give you is a service action. All 3 of those things together make up the complete service offering.
All right, we have covered a ton of ground. Let's pull all these ideas together and look at the whole picture from beginning to end.
You see how it all flows together, right? It all starts with the people, your customer, user, and sponsor. They get into a relationship to co-create value. That value is measured by that perfect balance of utility and warranty. And what they get in the end is a service offering, which is a package of goods, access, and actions. If you break any single link in that chain, the whole thing falls apart, and the value is lost. So, I want to leave you with a question to take back to your own job. Think about a service you either provide or one that you use. Now that you know how to break it down into goods, access, and actions, which part do you think your customers really value the most? Is it the tangible stuff, the reliable access, or is it the human support? The answer might just surprise you, and it'll help you focus on what truly matters. Thanks for watching.